Awesome. Hey everyone, Daniel Ramsey here with MyOutDesk. I'm really excited to share with you guys today some of our top 7 growth hacks. So again, my name is Daniel Ramsey. I'm the CEO and founder of MyOutDesk. I've had the privilege of helping over 4,000 businesses just like yours grow and scale. And so today what we've done is we've combined all of our top 7 growth hacks, and today we're going to share them with you guys. So I'm really excited about that. This is the best of the best. Think about it like this. If you're currently like a high school football athlete and you have a practice regimen, you have a food regimen, you lift weights once or twice a week, that's high school, but only 1% of those people move on to college. 1% go to college. And then in college, you step up the amount of practice that you do, you're stepping up the amount of work that you're doing, you get better coaches, better nutrition, you have a longer practice, and you're competing at a higher level. Well, then only 1% of those people go on to the NFL. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. We're talking about businesses that have gone to the NFL, meaning they are fully pros. They're the best in their industry. They're best in class. And what we've done is we've distilled what our top clients are doing, and we've dropped them into these 7 growth hacks. So today, what you're gonna get is we're gonna pull the curtain back and say, look, if you wanna be in the NFL, and what does that mean? That means netting $1 million a year, having a team execute all of the business execution within your business, right? Having a team that is like intact, there doing the work, and you're there just coaching and guiding and helping them learn to really scale your business. So if that's the world that you're in, if that's what you need, you're in the right spot. One thing, before we get rocking and rolling, I do want to ask one question. What city are you from and how hot is it there? You can see mod interaction. I don't want to be here just talking the whole time. We're going to bring strategies that many of you are aware of, but may not be currently employing. So as we go through the 7 different growth strategies, I want you guys to interact, meaning if you have a question, we got folks on hand who are going to feed those questions to us. And really here's the reason, right? I don't want anybody on this podcast or on this webinar to feel like, I'm not sure if what Daniel's saying will apply to me, and then get disengaged. I want you guys to be fully present, fully engaged, and really bringing value to this webinar. So if you have a question, don't hold on it, don't sit on it, let's interact. It looks like we've got somebody from Virginia Beach. It's 100 degrees. It's Patrick, man. Hey, thanks for being here, Patrick. Really appreciate you coming on today. Again, guys, we love interaction, so thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. Remember, when you show up, you actually have to show up again, meaning you can be present, but you could be not actually fully present and being here. The most important thing today is that we're bringing what the pros do, people who are netting $1 million a year or more, and we're gonna bring those strategies to you guys. So the next question is, who should be here? It looks like we've got Tom from the British Islands. It's only 90 degrees there, but I bet it's pretty hot at 90 on the island right now. Tom, welcome. Thanks, Patrick and Tom, for interacting. We've got more people coming in. But the question is, who should be here? Are you in the right spot? Here's the thing. If you're scaling a company, if you're growing revenue, just last night, I had a friend of ours refer a business owner over to me. And last night he says, hey, Ramsey, I've got a real serious problem. My business is growing and I can't keep up. If that's you, you're in the right spot. Okay, if you're growing a business and you can't keep up, you're in the right spot. If you're in the high school or college sports and you want to get a peek at what the NFL guys are doing, what the pros are doing, you're in the right spot. If you're challenged, if you're like, God, I'm right there, I'm almost there, but I've got a little bit more work to do, you're in the right spot. What we're gonna go over right now are all the challenges to scale and grow a company. Again, these are 7 growth hacks, and it's gonna be super valuable. So these are the reasons, and this is the value you're going to get today if you join us. Why should you be here? Okay, if your workload is getting overwhelming, if you're an entrepreneur, we work hard today so that we can have a life that others only dream of. The reality is what we're going to cover today is working hard, but also smart. So if you're starting to get overwhelmed, you're in the right spot. If your company revenue and productivity is suffering because you don't have enough time to spend on revenue generation inside your business, you're in the right spot. If maybe revenue has been flat and you're not having a growth curve, you're not seeing that increase in revenue, you're in the right spot. Maybe you need support. Maybe you're so busy throughout your day that you're not going to the gym, you're not spending time with your family, and you need more help in your business, you're in the right spot. Another thing that is kind of unique to last year and this year is, unemployment, right? We're at 3.9%. Hunting talent is really difficult now. It's as a business owner, you've got 3 jobs. You're hunting talent 100% of the time. You're hunting new business 100% of the time, and you're growing your net worth 100% of the time, right? And so if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, and you're not focused on those 3 things, meaning if you're doing anything but those 3 things, then you might be in the right spot. So that's who should be here. Those are the folks that are going to be getting value. It looks like we have Clint from Austin. It's 102. I haven't been to the British Islands. I haven't been to Virginia Beach, but I can tell you I have been to Austin in the summer. And I bet you it's hot, Clint, and I feel bad for you, brother, but thanks for being here. Guys, we've got a bunch of other people coming in and commenting. I appreciate all of you guys here today. Again, we're going through the 7 growth hacks. This is what we've distilled of the pros. These are people who are netting. Like we have this one client in Atlanta, Georgia, who is onboarding 5 of our people every other month. Now he's the net that this guy has got going on is insane, like his net profit every year. And what's cool about if you're here today, I get to see his org chart. I get to see the systems that he's using. I get to see all the people on his team and what their job descriptions are. We get a view into their profitability, a view into their gross margins. So this one client in Atlanta gives us all of that information and then says, hey, Daniel, here's the gap for us to double our revenue. And if you guys can fill that gap, then we're going to be clients. And that's exactly what he's done. And we're going to bring some of that expertise here today. I mean, that client's netting over $5 million a year in net profit. So we're bringing what the pros are doing today on this webinar. Here are all the reasons, the introductions. These are all the things that might be going through your head. And here's what we do, right? So the very first thing is prospecting or customer service. Again, we've had 4,000 clients. We've been in business 10 years. By the way, 80% of all businesses go out of business within the first 3 years. 64% of businesses make 0 or negative. They basically report to the IRS they had no income or they lost money. So if you're here today, we're avoiding all those trends, right? So the very first thing is a prospecting virtual professional, a marketing virtual professional, or an administrative virtual professional. Those are the 3 areas that we help people grow. And we're going to go through some examples of all those things that we do to help people kind of go to the next level in their business. First, we want to introduce Harry. Harry's kind of one of our poster child clients. He's new to us. He's been around for a couple of months. What I love about Harry is he took all of the information that we're going to share today in this webinar through a consultation that we'll talk about at the end of this thing, but he took all of that information and he just went and implemented. And I love that. And here's what Harry says. You have to change things around until you get it right. He thinks of it like fishing. If you can't get a fish, you change the bait. And if you can't get a fish with that bait, maybe you change your location, or maybe you change the type of rod you're using, or maybe you go into a different boat, or maybe you go to a different river. The point is, too many folks are hyper-focused. Oh, here's the solution. And the reality in business is you've got to test, try, refine, test, try, refine. And then at some point you're going to have success, right? And this is what happened. Here's his virtual professional. Now Harry hired us to help him drive revenue, which is one of our biggest things. We have, you know, around 2,500 clients who've hired us to drive revenue for their business. So we've got a lot of experience with that. And the first day, Christine here set 3 to 4 appointments. And what's cool about that is that he was blown away, so much so that he had to start giving away some of his sales appointments to his team. So that was a massive aha for Harry, because he'd always been the one generating revenue. He'd always been the one on the phones, calling people, setting appointments, and he hadn't had success hiring on his own to do that particular role. So he hooked up with MyOutDesk. We gave him a virtual professional. We set up, you know, his bait, his tackle. We set up, you know, where he was going to fish. We just helped him through a consultation and figuring out exactly what he was going after. And now I know this, within the first 30 days, there was more than 30 appointments. So that is a very cool story for somebody who's thinking, well, can I actually do that? So here is kind of a positioning conversation. What I'd like to do is, let's think about what your options are as an entrepreneur. What we like to do is something called a blended model, and we're going to get into that in the future, but here are your 2 hiring options. You can hire on your own, and what you have to do is you have to place an ad, you have to go through thousands of resumes, you know, then you have to test their skill set, then you have to interview them, meaning you're spending precious time just trying to figure out if this person is a right fit, and then they learn the job and maybe they leave you. I can't tell you how many of our clients have come back to us and said, oh my gosh, I hired in-house for a position and I gave so much love and attention to this person, and then 3 years later, now they're my competition out in the marketplace. This has happened time and time again. Now, here's what happens if you hire a virtual professional through us. We'll send you 2 or 3 candidates that are exact matches to the outcomes that you need. Okay, you don't have to worry about them leaving. You don't have to worry about sharing with them. You don't have to worry about payroll. You don't have to worry about benefits. You don't have to worry about any of the stuff that you have to with physical employees, because we at MyOutDesk take care of all of that. So those are just some slides to set context. And now we're going to dive in to the top 7 virtual professional growth hacks. Okay, so the first one, this is my favorite. It's perfect for a business owner. If you're a business owner trying to drive revenue, this is the one to focus on. It's lead response performance. Okay, so think of chat, web, inquiries, meaning if they filled out a form, and phone, right? Here's the problem that we solve for entrepreneurs. I like to think of this speed to lead. Most entrepreneurs, most business folks, they don't have a mechanic for measuring when a lead comes in to when one of your staff members actually has a conversation with that lead. And I'm going to give you an example. And this is a weird example, but you know, just roll with me. I'm crazy. I like to bring real world examples. I bought a truck last year, right? And so you spend a lot of money on buying cars. They depreciate right away. You have to negotiate with a salesperson who really can't make a decision. You have to line up the money for it. Buying a car is an all-day thing. So at night, I'm on my iPad, and I found the car that I wanted. I found the price that I wanted, and so I just put in an inquiry. And then guess what happened? Nothing for 2 whole days. Now think about this as a business owner. If I had a need, I found exactly what I needed, and then I made an inquiry online, and then nobody called me, subconsciously, what am I thinking about that business? I'm thinking, number 1, they don't care about me. Number 2, they don't have a really good business. Number 3, like the salespeople are dropping balls in the beginning of the process. What's to stop them from dropping balls at the end of the process, like making promises they can't keep or not responding to me when I actually show up? So the very first hack is, and this is a simple simple thing is respond to all leads within 5 minutes. Why is that important? Now, this is some smart guys research that they put together, and what we love is it clearly articulates what value we can bring to you. I have this one client on the East Coast who services the whole country and even Canada and parts of the Caribbean. He hired 3 of our virtual professionals because he understood the importance of speed to lead. He understood that if he could get to a client in the first 5 minutes of their initial inquiry, he had a much higher percentage chance of actually getting that client getting that potential client to actually become a client. So here's what the research shows: you have a 400% increase odds if you respond within 5 minutes versus 10 minutes. Okay, so if as business owners, my main job, the biggest thing that I can do is drive revenue for my business. This is a metric that has to be met. Basically, if you do it within 5 minutes, you're gonna win. That means if somebody calls your office, it shouldn't go to your cell phone. It shouldn't go to your salespeople's cell phone. It can, but that's not the most efficient, because they might be out meeting with another client or doing a presentation with another client. And to be frank, there needs to be somebody on your web, on your chat, on your phones that are immediately available to answer questions, to tell them, hey, I care about you and your business. Had somebody just called me back when I was hunting for my truck, I would have driven over there and done a test drive the very next day, but nobody called me, and so I moved on and I bought from another company. Here's another opportunity too. Okay, persistence. We all know that in the world of in the world of fighting for attention, that the person who is persistent wins. Think of my wife. I had to ask her a bunch of times before she'd go out with me, right? And so that's how it is. People who are persistent, business owners that are persistent, they win. Well, according to research, if you call 5, 6, 7 times, you have a 90% chance of getting in touch. Okay, and what we all know is that salespeople and sales reps, they go for the easy wins, right? So they give up if they have to call or text people. Looks like we have a question from somebody in the audience. Local numbers. Okay, so here's what's great. MyOutDesk, we're gonna set you up. If you come into a consultation, we're gonna set you up not only with the right system, but the right process. So we're gonna help you craft exactly what you need. So the question is, if I'm in Sacramento and let's say I'm like Clint and I'm in Austin, well, I want a 512. I think that's Texas, 512. I think that's either Dallas or Austin. I'm not certain, but the point is we're gonna have a virtual professional launched in your office, and either we're gonna add them to your already existing phone system, or we're gonna get them a local number so that they're 100%. It feels like they're calling right from your office. So the point here, and boiling this one hack down, measure the speed in which you respond to leads. And then the number 2 thing is multiple attempts. If you can't get a hold of them, call them a couple. One little hack here is, we'll have our people call 3 times in a row before, in one attempt. They call, they hang up, they don't leave a voicemail, they call again, they hang up, they don't leave a voicemail, they call the 3rd time, boom, they get somebody. And if they don't get somebody, they leave a voicemail. But the point is, those tactics to respond to client and customer inquiries, really ultra important. Okay, so we're gonna go to the number 2, outbound prospecting. Now circle dialing and demographic dialing, this is a secret weapon. I'm not even kidding you. I'm talking to my neighbor. His name's Christian. And my neighbor just built one of those front yard patios, like where there's a fire pit and, nice outdoor patio, and it's got a little brick and like little lights outside. He likes to entertain. He likes to have people over for dinner, and lunch and barbecue and such, but he didn't have an area to enjoy his front yard. He has this really nice, beautiful tree that has a lot of shade, and just stick with me because I'm the guy who built this, right? The guy who built this outdoor patio, he was a master craftsman. It was beautiful work. I mean, it matches the house. It looks really good, but he didn't have a sign up. He didn't have a place to leave cards. And what he didn't do, which was simple, silly, easy, and he's a contractor, right? So he didn't door knock and he didn't call the neighborhood. See, we live in an area where outdoor living is becoming more and more of a trend, right? And all of the houses in my neighborhood, they're old houses. They're built in the 20s and 30s, and they didn't have that. In fact, that's just not part of what it is. But again, it's a nice area. So outbound prospecting means that if you own a business and you get a client in a particular area, the chances of getting another client in that area are super high. Like, this is the script that I would use to call all the neighbors in the area. I'd be like, hi everyone, my name is Daniel. I just did some work for Christian, your neighbor, right there on 45th and J. Like, that's the street that I'm on. Hey, and he told me that you might be open to talking to us about putting in a front door or a front of the house, like kind of patio area. And I was gonna be in the neighborhood on Tuesday, and I wondered, would you be offended if I just stopped by and dropped off some paperwork? That question opens the whole door. Would you be offended? Well, of course you wouldn't be offended if you drop off some paperwork. And then you might ask, hey, have you seen the little patio? I mean, you guys live on the same street. Have you driven by it? What do you think? You like that? And so you'd get into a dialogue. And then when they say, yeah, Tuesday would work, you would say, okay, great. So Tuesday it is. When would you be home so that we can make sure we're there? What's the best time for you so I can hand you that? I want to hand deliver this stuff. And then you just have guys out there, sales guys out there, doing the work. And all of a sudden, that one job turns into 5 jobs. Those 5 jobs turn into 10 jobs. And that's the concept with outbound prospecting. And here's the thing is, the demographic dialing, you can call on a street, you can call in a neighborhood, you can call in a cul-de-sac. And when you get one client, like, I like to think of clients as having babies, right? Every one client should give you 2 referrals. Every 2 referrals should give you 4 deals. Like, it's just geometric math. It happens if you do it right. And so what we do at MyOutDesk is we'll help you hire a virtual professional so that when I show up on Tuesday to hand you a flyer and to talk to you about possibly putting in a front door or front of the house patio, you're like, yeah, this makes sense. So that's another hack that we have, is that, when you land one client, that should lead to 2 more. When you land those 2, it should lead to 4, and so on, with the right tactics in place. So the next one is outbound customer prospect nurturing campaigns. Now, we're gonna bring a new kind of word, SDRs. For those of you that don't know what that means, it's a sales development rep. It's made popular by Silicon Valley. That's what they basically call outbound prospectors. If you're in the insurance industry, it's called a producer. If you're in the investment advisor kind of world, it could be an advisor. If you're in the real estate world, it might be an ISA. If you're in the tech world, it's an sales development rep. But here's what it is. Okay, so you've got content that you're pushing out. Big point, these 7 growth hacks, this is a white paper that everybody on this webinar will have access to. We're gonna give you a copy of it, and it goes into detail about each of these hacks. And what you're gonna be able to do with that is then go back to your business and spend some time working on your business rather than in your business. And you can go, you know what, I don't have speed to lead, or you know what, I do need some circle prospecting, or you know what, some customer nurturing with a sales development rep, that would be good because I don't have that, or I have it inconsistently in my business. So this growth hack is actually a really thick white paper that we put together for our clients to discover what is possible with a virtual professional. We'll send that out to folks like you guys on this webinar, and the intention is to educate you on what we're able to do. Well, some may click and some may not. What happens when somebody downloads that document or goes to your website or consumes an email or raises their hand and says, I'd like to have a consultation, or I'd like to set up a coffee meeting, or I'd like to talk to you more about your product or service? The simple reality is, as a business owner, if you get 100 of those inquiries in a week's time, I don't want you as the business owner making that initial call. That's not the best time. That's not the best use of your time. Your time is best spent face-to-face, like we are doing right now together on this webinar. So we have sales development reps who, if you pump content out into the world, marketing pieces, emails, blog posts, white papers, if you have stuff on your website, if you have stuff in social media and somebody consumes it, clicks on it and says, I'm interested, then what I want you to do is hire a virtual professional, a sales development rep, to go after that lead and qualify them. Is this somebody who has the money to be a client? Is this somebody who has an actual need? What's their time frame? Those three things are all you need to know about outbound sales. You know, do they have a need? What's their time frame? Can they afford my product or service? And are they actually in the market for it right now? If you can just have your virtual professional nail those three things and then set an appointment for you to show up, that is like nirvana, because now you've taken those top of funnel 100 people that come in and you've narrowed it down to the top 10 or 15 who you need to meet with because they're motivated buyers or sellers of your product right now. So that's what this number 3 hack is employing those things in order to, use your time most effectively. Guys, time. Time is the one resource you can't buy more of. You can't trade it. It runs out once you have a finite amount of it, and it runs out. And our intention is for you to use it as effectively as possible. So we're getting into some heavy stuff today, and I really appreciate you guys for hanging in there. This next one, raise the marketing bar with a blended marketing team. Here's what we're talking about. Today, to set up this webinar, we have a virtual professional who set it all up. We have a virtual professional who created this marketing, the slides and everything on this presentation. We have a US-based person who's a professional who distilled all the content from our professional clients, the best-in-class clients that we have. We basically culminated all of that information, distilled it into these 7 things, outlined what they were, and then we had our virtual professionals create the slides, create all of the presentation. That's what we're talking about. So content marketing, emails, if you're not doing text messages, like SMS messages out to your marketplace, I can't imagine missing that opportunity, because guess what? If you look right now in your inbox, in Facebook or LinkedIn or your emails, you probably have several, if not hundreds, of unread emails. But guess what? It's unlikely that you have a similar percentage of unread text messages, because everybody reads their text message. It's like, oh, I've got a message from a friend. What would it be like if you could send somebody a personalized, customized message via text? A potential client, and Halloween's coming up. My wife and kids love Halloween. And how nice is it to send a message out, hey, just thinking about you, have a wonderful Halloween with your family. Boo, or some crazy thing like that, right? But these are opportunities that if you're not currently taking advantage, there's a lot of technology out there that will let you broadcast out mass messages or very customized poignant message based on what's in your CRM. Another really amazing spot is the website updates and maintenance. Google is forever changing their algorithm. What you pay for in Google isn't what you get for free in terms of content marketing. And so being able to update blog posts, being able to maintain those different white papers that you might think, or downloads, or your schedule, your consultation on your website, all of those things can be managed by a virtual professional. And here's the gig. We have a ton of folks that are helping in this area, because it's just, as a business owner, let's say you're a $10 million business or a $5 million business, or let's say you aspire to that. This is hard to spend, $70,000, $80,000 on a full-time US person, where you can kind of have a blended market where one of our people for 21,000 or less can actually help drive revenue by creating relevant content. So that's what we're talking about right here in this hack. Expanding the brand presence and referral marketing and social media. So this is one of my favorite things. We have a client who wanted to dominate a particular area in the business that he was. So he hired a virtual professional and created a Facebook group. And then every time there's an event, every time there's a new restaurant opening, every time a development happens in the neighborhood, every time a school opens or closes or has an event, all of that information is compiled into this Facebook group. And then he creates tons of interaction by having really cool content that's relevant, but also hyper local. And then every once in a while, he'll throw an article that he had created for his business, talking about the problems that his business solves for that community. Every once in a while, he'll do a Facebook Live out because there's a new restaurant opening, or he'll do a Facebook Live about a client story where he helps somebody save money or make money or do whatever. And what I love about that is making the video, 100% your job. But then putting it out in Facebook, putting it on LinkedIn, typing up the content for that, making sure all of your audience is there. Like, I have a business card right here, right? A guy from a lender, actually, from Quicken Loans. I snap a photo and I send it to our virtual professionals in our marketing, and then that person gets added to our CRM. We invite them to the webinars like this. They get added to our Facebook page. That they just get put into our marketing machine. And that's what I want for you guys. That's what I want for you guys 100% of the time. Managing your not only your text messages, but also like your emails, also your social media, and creating networks and creating content and creating connection with people. That's what this hack is all about. And it's super, super, super profitable when you're growing a business, because somebody could say, dude, you're everywhere. I remember the first time we were on radio, I'd get text messages from people and they'd be like, I can't believe you're on, I heard you in my car on the way to work. That's amazing. And the reality is, that's the kind of content that you want to highlight on your website, highlight in your social media. And that's what you want people to see, because you want to be top of mind for your audience. And that's what this one's all about. Okay, so this hands down is probably one of my favorite hacks. It's how we operate now. We didn't always operate like this, but it's 100%. Okay, hey, I've got Daniel Moore, Facebook question. How do you all help folks locate virtual assistants, and who can help with cold calling? Okay, we're going to definitely get into cold calling. We talked about that in our outbound customer prospecting and outbound kind of demographic or circle prospecting. But here's the thing. I like Harry. In the beginning, we talked about Harry's, it's like fishing, right? And Harry says, you got to change your bait sometimes. So that's one of the most important things. And here's an example. A friend of mine, I met this guy on the plane. I'm flying, I think I was in Chicago and speaking at a real estate conference. And I like those things, but they're long flights. So I'm sitting next to a guy named John, and he was dressed to the hilt. Like, he had the cool clothes on and the cool boots and the nice bag. And so he and I kind of sparked up a conversation. And John is hiring us to do outbound prospecting and cold calling to an existing kind of people that are subscribers to a technology that he's involved with, right? But they're not his clients, meaning IBM, which is a huge company, has a software, and he hired some virtual professionals to go after IBM's clients to sell them some services, right? And what I love about that is when we were talking, I helped John create the system for that. So you have to have a kind of a value proposition. You have to have some reason that your people want to talk to you. So what we're doing right now is a great example, right? We're giving you 7 growth hacks. We're telling you, like, our customers that are netting millions of dollars, this is what they do inside their business. So if you're not netting millions and you want to, listen to this. That's an example of a value proposition, right? And then you have to create, a script around that. Like, so tell me how much of your marketing spend is spent on acquiring new clients, and how is that going? So you have to have scripts around your value proposition, and then you have to have a reason for them to go to the next step, meaning a consultation. In this instance, we're talking about, today, and I like using what we're doing now because you're feeling it, you're seeing it. In this instance, we're giving you the 7 growth hacks, right, in a webinar form, so you can watch it or listen to it. Next, we're going to give you the physical document, which is like 24 pages, and it's rich with detail, right? So if you're listening and you want it, we're going to give you a way to get it at the end of this webinar. It's rich with detail. It has exact science to it, and you can use it as a guide to go back and strategize on your business. Then we're going to offer a consultation, because guess what? If you think you're going to climb to the mountain by yourself and you've never been at the top of that mountain, it just doesn't happen. Okay, you need a guide. You need somebody to help you carry your gear. You need somebody to help make sure you have enough water. And it's always good when you go to the mountain with a couple buddies, because that makes the experience even better. And so that's what we're talking about when we say have a consultation with us, because we want to be a partner to your own growth. We want to help you do that. In fact, I want more than anything everybody on this webinar to figure out how to scale their business, because when you scale a business, more opportunity opens up. You get to influence and impact more people, and hopefully you'll use that influence and impact to do some good in the world. So that's our heart. That's why we want you to be there. So what I just did is share, okay, here's our unique value proposition, here's our positioning, and here's why you should move forward. The problem is, when business owners set up an outbound calling campaign, they don't have all the other pieces that go with it. Something to give away for free, a value proposition, a second step, and they don't spend enough time, showing their virtual professional the way. I've been a business owner since 2004, so I'm 14 years into being an entrepreneur. 10 of them have been focused highly on this particular business, helping other people grow with virtual professionals. You can't get that kind you're not going to get that kind of experience overnight. And somehow I have to transfer that experience and knowledge over to my team. And that's where most people have a challenge. Daniel, I really appreciate your question. And this next piece is going to help you determine which part of our business or your business could be influenced the most when considering hiring a virtual professional. Okay, so this is game changer, guys. All major Fortune 500 companies use this. They use this exact framework for setting up all of their strategic alliances, for hiring all of their employees. Most small businesses have never even heard of business outcome statements. If you're on this, everything that I said before was super valuable, but this is game changer, right? And I'm going to explain how it is. These are the 5 reasons that you would hire anybody inside of a business. Anybody, anywhere, anytime. Number 1, my favorite, grow revenue. Figure out what you need to do to grow revenue within your business and then put people on it, okay? You could also increase the productivity of your team. So another outcome would be like, look, my team is really good at execution, but they're so busy and they're weighed down by all these details that I need to take some of the work away from them so they can help me drive revenue and they can be more productive in their job, or they can finish the task, the delivery of my service or product to the client at a faster rate. So you might hire a virtual professional to increase the productivity of your existing team. That is a great outcome. The other one on the right here is customer experience. Guys, kind of like the dealership. If you were listening earlier, I wanted to buy a car. I submitted an online inquiry directly to a dealership that had the car that I wanted, that all the options that I wanted, and for 2 days nobody called me. So that was a poor customer experience. So poor, in fact, that I ended up buying it from another dealership because I didn't want that experience. During the sales process and after I bought the car, I wanted a good experience. So another outcome that you can hire for is increasing the customer experience. Okay, on the left-hand side, we've got cost. Many of our clients are like, look, I've got this administrative team in the US. I need to increase their productivity and reduce costs. I was going to hire another admin, but I hear that MyOutDesk can help with a virtual professional, and we can have a blended team where some of my admin staff or some of my marketing team is in the US and some here in the Philippines, right? So that's an opportunity to reduce costs, because you need 3 bodies to do the job. You have 2, and if you hire US, you're going to spend $70,000, $80,000 for that role, and with MyOutDesk, you might spend $21,000 a year for that role. So another opportunity is reducing costs, and another opportunity is increasing the quality, not only of your sales process, but maybe of your service or of your product. I can't tell you how far you can take a company by getting referrals, by getting reviews, by getting recommendations. We coined that as the 3 R's. While increasing the quality of the service that you provide or the product that you sell is an outcome that you can purchase. And we can help with that. So these are the 5 reasons you should hire any person on your team. And when you do a consultation, we're going to help walk you through those. Objective and controls. You've got to define what is being measured, right? So if you want to decrease costs, we got to put a percentage by it, and we've got to define in what department and how long it's going to take and what that outcome is going to look like. And then we have to have a unit of measurement, specific units. So if it's a percentage, that's fine. If it's $1, that's fine too. But we need to know exactly, maybe it's in time. Maybe you want to get back some of your time. So it's super important that you nail those things too. Contextual clarifier, it just describes the conditions under which the thing is measured. So you might say, look, I want to increase revenue by 20% for the 2019 year. And I'd like to, and a contextual clarifier might be in a particular division. So we have a friend who owns a mortgage, they basically do analysis on the mortgage for the banks so that the mortgage is a good mortgage, meaning they're kind of doing a little bit of control or quality control for this mortgage these multiple mortgage companies. And he has 4 lines of business. So a contextual clarifier would just be defining the line of business and the how to drive revenue. So that's a perfect example of what we're talking here. And guys, if you're listening and you're like, wait, I don't understand, or I'm not certain, it took me 2 years to understand this. And I'm an entrepreneur and I own a business, and I get it. It's not simple. But if you do a consultation with us, which we'll give you a shot to do that at the end, then we're going to help you through this. It's not as difficult. This is meant to replace job descriptions, because job descriptions don't have units of measurement. So massively important, massively impactful for your business, and we'll help you with this. Okay, so here's the last one. What you want to do is partner with leaders. I like to think MyOutDesk is a leader in the business. We've been around 10 years. thousands of clients, over 4,000. And then you've got to manage gating success factors. Now, gating is it's a fancy word for critical success factors. It's just things that matter the most. Here, I have this friend, and I'm telling this story because it's so important and imperative if you're watching this webinar to understand this concept. I have a friend who lost part of his lung capacity. Like, you're like, Daniel, what is this about to do about business? But pay attention, and because this is going to be relevant to you. So we're hanging out in his backyard. The wives went to a play. He and I are sitting in patio. We've got a drink. Our combined, horde of children, 5 children, are swimming in his pool. And he was telling about his medical struggles that he's had over the last year. And I care so much about this person. And so I'm going to tell him exactly what I told you. I asked him, what's his plan for recovery? And he was like, what are you talking about? Here's the thing. If you listen to anything in this and you're like, gosh, I do have a need. That sounds interesting. Oh, I have that hole in my business. All the 7, only 4 are relevant to me, or I really need 2, or whatever it is. Like my friend who lost his lung capacity, if you don't have a plan, then you're just, any road will do, right? When you're walking down a road and if you don't know where you're going, who cares which road you choose? And that's the same with my friend. I said, what's your plan to get your body healed? I'm like, we start talking about it, and what's your medical plan? What's your mental plan? What's your physical recovery plan look like? And you know what he said, which is exactly what you're thinking right now. I don't have one. I don't have one. So if you do not have a plan today to measure success, know what your critical success factors or gating success factors, I would employ you to spend some time with us and let's get a plan together. Here, it's so important. This guy's life depended on it. And I just got a text with him because he's like, hey, I don't know what my next steps are. And I laid him out. I said, go meet with your doctor, go meet with this professional, this professional, this professional, and then ask them for help. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys to have. Use us, get a consultation, come in. Here's what we do that's unique, okay? These next 2 slides are freaking phenomenal. They're gold if you're listening, and if you implement them, oh my goodness. I mean, it's a game changer. Here's what we do to help companies like you. So number 1, we're not just giving you any person off the street, right? We're not going to the Philippines and hoping it works. We're not, maybe this person's going to be awesome. What we're doing is we're doing a very concerted process that we have proven thousands of times to deliver high caliber talent into businesses like you. Think of us like the military. We're jumping out of planes, dropping into your business, and we're going to help you scale. We're going to help you grow your company. So what we do, we'll do an FBI grade background check. Okay. We'll do employment checks, meaning if you're hiring a prospector, guess what? We're going to give you a prospector. You're hiring a marketing professional, we're going to give you a proven, previously employed with a marketing team doing marketing so that you can jump right on it. We're going to do an education check. Most of our folks, college educated, some are more educated than I am. I mean, there's this one gal who went to the Harvard of the Philippines, and I'm thinking, wow, we have the opportunity to work with her. I mean, some of the talent is insanely amazing. I'm constantly surprised by the people that we pull, kind of like Harry's story. In the first week, like literally in the first week, we're delivering so many consultations for his business, so many sales opportunities that he had to get his team to help him because he didn't have enough time in his schedule. So that's what we do. So also we do a market force profiling. It's really important that when you hire somebody, you're hiring them with the natural inclination to do the job. And so we've got a market force work style personality profile where you can see that they're the right style for the right role. You don't want an introvert making calls, and you don't want an extrovert doing paperwork and admin stuff. and you want a creative type helping you with marketing. So we're doing profilings to make sure not only that their job, their previous education, and that their personality matches, but we're doing it with this 3 E's methodology. This is another thing that's unique to MyOutDesk. They're previously employed doing the job. They have a proven experience, meaning they have a proven track record of success at the job previously to come into work for you. And then they have expertise, meaning a third party has trained them to do this job. Okay, so that's what we bring to clients when they come to us with an outcome statement. We're going to just basically make this perfect match for you guys so that you can grow your business. So people ask me all the time, like, how do I become like successful? That's what this slide is all about. How is it that I can get a virtual professional and then have them land in my business and make massive impact? Number one, the most important thing is you have to have vision and leadership. Our virtual professionals, when you tell them that you care about them, that you want to help them, and you want to grow them and their career path, that's all that it takes. You show them the way to go, where to go, and how to go, and they're going to love you forever. In fact, most of our clients consider your business their business, meaning they're working as partners to you to grow. And I can't tell you how many times I've been told that by a virtual professional and how many times clients have told me that. That partnership that is created starts at the leadership and vision space for your company, okay? Number two, you've got to have clear training. The mod VPs, MyOutDesk, MOD, you've got to have clear training, you've got to have clear communication, and you've got to have a plan, meaning, invite them to your meetings, your once a week meetings, have one-on-ones, share text message with them, say, hey, let's say they win, right? Let's say they set an appointment, or let's say they increase the client experience by your measurement that you have, or let's say they reduce costs and they're just kicking butt. Text them and tell them how much you care about them. Communicate. Have face-to-face conversations. Make sure your training is 100% spot on. Be ready to answer questions for them. If you do those things, you guys are going to win. And think of it like this. In the beginning, there's going to be work. And over time, that work's going to decrease. In the beginning, there's a little bit of work. And the value that they bring is going to be low because they're brand new. They're learning the business. They're learning you. It's in the beginning of a partnership. And then over time, the value increases and the amount of work that you have to do. And we say that crosses at 90 days, meaning at 90 days, you can expect them to be rocking inside your business, okay? That's what the Mod VP leverage number 2 of this whole thing is about. The last one, systems and tools. Guys, I can't tell you how many failures we've had where we've told a client, hey, you need to get a phone system for your VP, and then they don't. Or, hey, get them a login to your CRM so they can see the activity, so they can provide value, and they don't. Systems and tools. If you don't have it, that's fine. In our consultation, we'll talk about it. We'll provide you some opportunities of different systems to purchase, but it's the most imperative thing. You've got to have good tools and good systems, because when you combine 1, 2, and 3, you can see right there in the center, that's scale. You're providing scale for somebody. And I get super passionate about that because I've seen clients just crush this piece and then miss this piece. And so we providing you this one slide to share with you how to win with a virtual professional. Guys, our time is almost done. There's a couple things that I wanna end with. Number 1, you have nothing to lose by texting this number right now. You're here on a webinar, something may have interested you. You might think that this is gonna be a match for you, and you might think that something I said was just crazy and you wanted to confirm it. But the reality is you have absolutely 0 to lose and everything to gain. Because when you come to us, what we're going to do, this is what it is to do a consultation with us. We'll talk about who's on your team. We'll create an org chart together. Who's doing sales, who's doing delivery of your service or product, and who's on the administrative side, right? how are you generating revenue? So we're going to talk about, what metrics are in place, how you're generating business and where you're at in that growth curve. I mean, are you in the beginning? Are you in the middle? Are you at the top and you need more help? Like, we're going to talk about how you're generating revenue, who's on your team, and then whatever's obstacles in your path, things that are in the way for you to get to the next level. That's what we're going to cover in a consultation. We're going to completely dive deep into your business. And here is the thing. When I was new to business, 14 years ago, I hired a coach. And it took me 4 years before I finally broke down and said, I need help. I don't want that for you. Like, I hired a coach 4 years after starting a business. And to be honest, I wasted 3 of those 4 years. And what we're offering today is the opportunity to meet with us and get coached. It's a crazy thing. This consultation is so much value because we've done it so many times. And the reality is, if you've never talked to one of our people, I'm promising you're going to be amazed. Guys, this has been one of the funnest webinars I've ever done. I really appreciate everybody's kind of questions back and forth. We'll be sending this out to anybody who missed it, but I just want to thank you. I know your time is valuable. It's the only thing that you don't have like unlimited amount of. And so I really appreciate you spending an hour with me today to go over the 7 growth hacks for a MyOutDesk virtual professional. I'm Daniel Ramsey, CEO and founder. If you want to talk to us, give us a text, comment down here. We're here to help you scale and grow your company. Thanks for your time today.